All right then. Well, but I'm sure that the circumstances under which you are here this time are not the best. The general with the insecurity that has been reported in Benue State. Well, Benue State is a wide expanse, and your constituency is the Upper Agatu Federal Constituency. Maybe we should start with, first of all, condolences to all those who reportedly died. Maybe I shouldn't even say reportedly. They did die. 7, in those attacks in the first instance. And now there's some more. Are matters better in your constituency, Upper Agatu?
Yeah, you agree with me that in the recent time, Benue State has been on the news, but this time around on the case of insecurity. It may interest you to know that I just returned from US when I went for OTC, which is an international event. But in US, in my hotel, when I just mentioned to one, I met somebody who is in Nigeria, and I told him, I'm from Benue State. The next thing was, what is happening? What can you do about what is happening in Benue State? So generally, Benue State is actually badly heated, and there's a high level of insecurity. Life of human being has no value, and then people are dying, and then nothing seems to significantly is being done to, arrest the situation. And the case is not different in my own immediate constituency of Apaga to federal constituency where I come from. And then I came to this house since the first day I resumed office till this moment. I've moved not less than 5 motions, drawing the attention of government to the issue of suspected herdsmen attack. And this attack will usually be carried out broad daylight. While I was also out there, I got information, very shocking information, of the death of the district head of Odubeho, person of Adejo, Chief Adejo, and Comrade Jeremiah from Ugboko. Jeremiah was just buried yesterday. And then Pastor Che, also from Odugbo. And as I speak with you now, if you go to Jantele Ward, particularly a village called Akwete, the people, the herdsmen attack them and then and render them homeless. And as I speak with you, the chief that died from Odubeho, he ran away from Odubeho to Tukpo local government for safety. And then right there he went to farm, got a piece of land there, he was farming, and he was killed right in the farm with Mr. Jeremiah. And as I speak with you, this is rainy season, and very soon our people have to go to farm massively. And I can tell you for free that everybody is afraid of visiting their farm because of the high level of insecurity. If you go to my place, everywhere is, of course, you see cattle and herdsmen moving, and they will sack community and take position. So it's actually very, very alarming, and that is the situation of Apaga to federal constituency at the moment. As I speak with you, it's not different from other constituency within the senatorial zone, and that is even the case of Benue State at large. And that is the present situation, very alarming and quite worrisome.
Okay, when you said in Benue, it appears that life doesn't seem to have any value. Of course, that will be to the marauding, suspected armed headsmen. I'm sure it's a very narrow group because life must have value. So these are the people that are giving this impression. But again, we're not just saying, we're not calling them robbers, we're not calling them bandits. It looks like we're specific about marauding armed herdsmen. So that gives a clue in there that these are the people that are, causing the problems in Benue State generally. I understand that you can't speak for the entirety of Benue State, I would imagine. But what do you think this, especially as we're emphasizing the fact that these are herdsmen, allegedly, maybe I should add, but they're armed, and the barely 2 days after the suspected attack, as of Monday, we're talking about 23 people killed, and then another 7 that has led us to have this conversation with you. The 7 people in separate attacks in 2 local government areas of Benue, this time Buruku community. and indeed the highway along Makurdi Naka in Gwe West. I hope I'm saying those names right. Gwe West local government areas. So what is it a conflict between herders and farmers?
Let me tell you this for free. When some of us were growing up, even when there were no issue of clash between herdsmen and the community, the common and the local tradition was that if you have your goat, your chicken, your pig, and you want to rear them, you must keep them in such a way, a manner, that it will not destroy somebody else's farm produce. And that law was strictly a local, a primitive, a conventional idea that was respected. But here we have a situation whereby in Benue State, like you know, is the food basket of the nation. And being the food basket of the nation, the major industry for employment there is farming. And people live by farming, and they also farm to also do some commercial activity. And the only thing, the only instrument we have for farming is land. And so these herdsmen, they will come and they want to disarm people. They want to deprive people. They want to take both the land and even the crop away from the people. And taking the crop and the land away from the people is as good as you are taking their life. And so, of course, the former governor, in his wisdom, Governor Samuel Otom, decided to come up using the Benue State Secretariat came up with what they call prohibition of open grazing in Benue State. And that law is still in place. So the idea here is that it's expected that no matter what it is, whether you are an indigene, whether you are a foreigner, whether you are a visitor, and you come to a place, you should be able to see how you can obey the law of the land. And if the law of the land, which of the highest decision-making body in the state, the House Assembly, if they make a law and pass it and make a law, and then the law stand, and they prohibit open grazing, and then these people are grazing openly, destroying people's farm, and then they do it with AK-47. And any attempt to challenge them, they will definitely take your life. And therefore, the responsibility of government is to ensure that the law of the land is enforced. And so if there's a law that prohibits or forbids people from grazing openly, which is even a common sense, that if you have reared your cow, you should be able to know that somebody who is farming too will have the right to have his farm product protected. So therefore, the government have that duty and the sole responsibility to protect life and property. This farm produce we are talking about is people property. And the life of individual they are taking is what is the primary responsibility of government to protect. So I'm saying that. And government, we have government at the federal level, we have government at the state level, we have government at the local government level. So, and the government, the arm of government that have the responsibility to enforce the government law is the executive arms of the government. And I can tell you for free, any society that laws are not obeyed, and when laws are broken and there's no repercussion, no consequences, I can tell you that that society is heading to total collapse. So I'm calling, of course, the state government and of course the federal government who have the responsibility and of course in charge of the armed forces to give specific directive that these people should be called to order so that we should have, everybody should have equal access, equal opportunity to live. And then of course life and property should be protected. And if government at any given point they feel that they can no longer carry out that responsibility, then they should give signal so that people should not take their destiny in their hands. And of course, then that will issue of self-defense and issue of even legalizing certain arms should also be discussed. Because as I speak with you, these people move freely with the arm, move freely with AK-47, and then when they see any of our own people moving with knife or even stick to defend themselves, the next thing the security personnel will rush them, and they'll get them arrested, detain them. But these other people move freely. As if, when we're in school, those days, nobody, we are equal before the law. The law should not be fair to somebody and then, of course, be unjust on that person. If the other guy have right to move freely with AK-47 without being arrested, without being challenged, I don't understand why the local should also not have the right to move with knife to defend themselves. Okay. So the government have its own responsibility to give equal opportunity to people to live. And it's their duty to ensure that the law is enforced. So I'm using this opportunity to call on federal government and the state government to mobilize the security personnel And they should be very patriotic about carrying out this duty. Because I can tell you for free, Yorim, if nothing is done about this matter, people may not know. The issue of this insecurity and particularly the Fulani attack is just like setting fire on a bush. You may set fire and you have a target or where you want the fire to consume, but you don't have control over how far the fire can go. You can put fire today thinking that the fire will last for only one day, but I can assure you that the fire can be there for 3 or 1 week. So everybody should know that if this thing is not arrested, even you who think that it is not affecting you directly today, you are the risk. And the highest risk are that. So I'm calling on the federal government, the state government, and all the government machinery, the security personnel, to specifically deal with this issue. The people carrying out this act are known. The allocations are also, it's not hidden. And they don't move in the night, they move in the daylight. And they move very freely.
This is worrying.
The government should live up to responsibility to save the life of the people.
Okay. You know, you've just, in the past in the past minute or so, for the first time, you've, used the word Fulani herdsman, because I was going to ask, and you have also said these people, these attackers are known. You use the word Fulani, so they're not indigents. They're not indigents, and how come this has been a protracted problem? It's been a protracted problem. It's almost like it's historical. So, what if they are known? It's gotten so bad that some are saying that the government in Benue is insensitive to the plight of the people. This can only be from a frustration that is deeply felt. If it is felt that government is insensitive, I'm imagining that surely government has to be sensitive, government has to be concerned. But if the people are beginning to speak like this, number one, are we sure that we're dealing here with Fulani, armed Fulani herdsmen, and as you say, actually carrying on in broad daylight? They don't wait for the cover of night. So you make it sound as if they themselves know that they can move about with impunity. This doesn't seem to be a natural or a normal state of affairs. Are you confirming my speculations here?
Yuri, like I told you earlier, when you're a father, and then you have a duty and you have a responsibility to take your children to school and pay the school fees. The moment you don't do that, whatever reason you give to that child, the child may not be able to take it. And so it's the sole duty and responsibility of government to provide security, protect life and properties. So when life and property are not being protected and people are dying, the value of human life is drastically reducing. The way we are talking about the variation of Naira, I can tell you that human life in my own constituency is seriously devalued on a daily basis. And so, and then somebody begin to wonder, we have soldiers, we have police, we have MOPO, we have and all of that. So, and he said, and these people work by directive. Before they take any action, they will tell you that they need to take directive from certain quarter. So we are saying that the government have the duty to give specific directive to ensure that these people who are behind this evil act are brought to book, arrested, prosecuted, dealt with. And by the time 1, 2, 3 persons are being dealt with, they are also human beings. They are afraid of their own life, and they also want freedom. By the time these people are being, brought to book, then I can assure you that there will be fear. People will take their step. Is it a situation whereby you wake up?
Is it an indication of the fear that you're talking about, that you've consistently referred to the attackers as these people and not, armed Fulani herdsmen? Is this part of the problem? I mean, you make it, it's not that you make it. It does seem that people are being very, very careful. Can't it be called what it is? if indeed they are suspected to be armed Fulani herdsmen, then where is the challenge in stating as much, and the authorities themselves know that this is the matter, so that perhaps eyes can be turned in that direction? They have leaders. Why is it like an intractable problem? Nobody can talk to them. Is everybody afraid of them, or are they afraid of the AK-47s, allegedly?
You see, if I've been on this issue of insecurity and attack on my people for a very long time, where you analyze it very correctly, you will just discover that it's a case of, I can say that people, you can see clearly that people fail to live up to expectation. You don't see sincerity, you don't see honesty, you don't see any sign that it's just like in the broad daylight, somebody come and steal, you know the person who steal, and you know instead of going after that person, you begin to look at another direction as if you don't know it. So when you look at it, you can see clearly that there's insincerity, there's lack of commitment. You know, so what I can tell you for free is that these people seem to have support. They seem to have people backing them. And it looks as if certain people are afraid of confronting these people because they have a feeling that the people backing them will come after them. And so I see a lot of compromise. And even on the part of the security personnel, you could see clearly that sometimes you see them helpless. If you have a close interaction with them, it looks as if sometimes from the top, there seems to be a kind of a conspiracy. You know, so it's an issue that the government has to be sincere, government has to be bold, government has to be courageous, government has to be fearless, and have understanding that they have a duty and have a responsibility, and they take oaths to protect life and property of the people. And they have to do that without minding who is involved. Until people are sincere and committed and are courageous and are patriotic, I can assure you that we will not get out of this. Because if you look at it critically, you see a lot of compromise.
Well, you see, these are the very distressing things that you are telling us, and you are actually from the area. Well, Apagatu, federal constituency of Benue State. In other words, nobody is telling you about this. You know, your people are directly affected. But it seems almost like a hopeless case, the way you are stating it, that, look, these people, although you hesitate to use the word, but I think you've actually used it about twice on this program, whereas you've used these people, you know, a score of times. We're talking about marauding Fulani herdsmen who are armed, and they're so sure of themselves that they actually, you know, carry on their dastardly business in broad daylight without any fear. And you said, in fact, you feel, your people feel hard done by. If they were to carry just knives, just bare knives, there will be some people inquiring as to what's going on, why this. But those that are carrying guns, nobody is asking them. And you're insinuating that there is a conspiracy of silence. Is that too strong?
Very well. That's exactly what I'm saying. Conspiracy of silence. You could also, I wouldn't want to, you know, I don't like bringing politics when I'm discussing issue of insecurity. And that's why I'm trying to be very economical with my decision. Because the moment you begin to bring politics...
No, you're trying to be politically correct. You're trying to be politically correct.
Yes.
Okay. But
right.
Does this hinder getting to the root of the problem, the fact that we are afraid to even say it like it is? Is this a problem? In fact, you're giving the impression that even the government itself is, you know, afraid.
Yeah, you see, I can tell you for free that government is a very organized institution, and there's a boundary. By the time you begin to cross your boundary in governance, it will be very glaring. And I'm a lawmaker. We have the law implementator, the people who are responsible to execute the laws of the land. The job of security is purely in the hand of the state government, the federal government, and even the local government, as the case may be. And that is why even in their allocation, there's what they call security vote. And the whole idea of some of this is to mobilize security to ensure that they live up to their expectation. R is to make the law, and when the law is made, the law should be enforced. So what we are saying is that people should be courageous enough when you occupy an office, live up to the expectation of that office without minding who you are marching on. And so, because first of all, when you have this responsibility, you are accountable to God, you are accountable to your conscience, and you're also accountable to the people. So what we are saying that if people are courageous enough to speak out, what I know about this scene, when people are committing crime, there will be, no matter how courageous you are, when you are committing crime, there will be fear in you. By the time somebody is speaking out, I have a background of unionism, and we don't have guns, we don't have cutlass, we don't have money. But we have the courage to challenge the government. When the government is doing something that is wrong, we ask questions. And because they know that we are there to ask questions, there are certain things they will not do. So what we are saying that when you occupy this position of responsibility, you have a duty to speak against some of this evil. You call certain quota. You should be able to take some drastic action.
I hear you.
When people are trying to do certain things, they know that there's a repercussion, they know that somebody is there. But when this thing is happening, and then there's no drastic, and there's no proactive, there's no serious movement toward the direction, then I can tell you that the people will have the liberty, they will even have the courage, they have the impetus, they have the guts to continue to perpetuate this evil. So we are saying that when you are in leadership position, since and I said it again, I don't want to politicize the whole matter, but I can tell you that all this is important to leadership. Because we are in this office to ensure that we protect life and property of the people, and the people are looking up to us. People are not carrying AK-47, but there are people that carry this thing to protect them. But if the government is saying that no, they don't have responsibility, they can't live up to that, then automatically you're pushing people to that level. And when they get to that level, there will be complete failure of government.
Okay, and
that is what I'm
God forbid that we get to that stage, because that will be chaos. That will be a complete breakdown. But Ojema, are you saying that government? I mean, you give the impression that government is just, like a proverbial igala caught within the headlights of a car, frozen out of fear into inactivity. Or will you hand it to the government? Because you've alluded to the fact that people who in authority have their responsibilities and they don't seem to be doing it. Are you saying that these people are just looking on? That is when I say these people, the government. Benue State has a government. It has a House of Assembly. You've spoken about open grazing being against the law. People are breaking that law at random, with freedom and at random. And are you saying that nothing whatsoever has been done? I'm going to come back to you to respond to that. But in the meantime, let me take Elder David, one of our viewers, who has called in. Good morning. I just lost Elder David. So I just clarify that part for me, because any responsible government cannot just sit down. What are the difficulties of government, if any? Government has to be in support of its people. And if its people are dying like this, at the hands of criminal action, no matter how traditional we're talking about, then we're very, you've alluded to the fact that there are police formations, there are military formations, and you give the impression that nobody seems to be wanting to do anything. So I was curious to find out from you, what are the efforts, no matter how inadequate you might think they are, that have been done so far to contain this situation? At least the no open grazing, for instance. Has government been able to confront this situation when they see people grazing their cattle anyhow, as opposed to the ranches that have been set aside for them? Is that what it is? Is it ranches that have been set aside for them that they sort of spurn and prefer to do the same way that their forefathers have been doing it? I'm sorry, but Emmanuel in Lekki has called in. So let me let him speak, and so that you hear his view as well before you now answer. Good morning, Emmanuel in Lekki. Emmanuel, can you hear us? Good morning. Well, okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Ojema. Go ahead and speak to us on the points that I raised. Because
if they say there's if you hear there's a crisis in Benue State or in Apagato, the government have the responsibility to declare coffee.
Okay.
And then it will stop every human being from moving.
Okay.
And when that directive is given, the security personnel will carry it out. The governor will sit down and say, no movement.
Emmanuel cannot be there because I called Emmanuel and he didn't respond.
Good morning. I am here.
Okay. Good morning, Emmanuel. We called you severally. Okay, I've just interrupted the speaker now. Go ahead, Emmanuel. Okay. How about Elder David? Oh, we lost Elder David. Emmanuel, go ahead, please.
Okay, so my contribution is good morning.
Good morning, sir.
The man on the studio is also pointing his hand to someone that is not on the studio. He has been given an opportunity to speak truth to power, and he's still pushing it. Let everybody say what it is. We all know the problem. Foreign people are coming in. They are using these guys that they want to come and they have their roots, their grazing roots, and their grazing roots across Nigerian borders. So they are not Nigerians. We have law-abiding Fulanis here. Now, when they come in without these guys of using their cows are being roasted, their cows are stolen. Now they want to protect themselves. Now they're looking for green pastures. Now they need to move around. Now they go into someone's farm. The person says, you cannot come in. Please use another route. He says, no, I have the right to use this route. So that is where the government now comes in to say, okay, if this is causing an issue, this is an old way of rearing this kind of cows. Can you please don't use this route to come into Nigeria? Go to another country if you insist. However, those within the country, can you take your cows and put them in a ranch so that those who are coming in with these guys, that is their grazing routes, they will not see that this country doesn't allow this route anymore. Then they will now go to another country. However, within the country, we will not able to manage the cows that we have in the ranches. That is my contribution.
Okay.
The contribution is there are foreign people coming in to do this. So, and they are using these guys of the grazing routes to protect their cows. But the government of the day now needs to put their foot on the ground and stop open grazing.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel, for calling in with that idea that these are not necessarily Nigerians, that they actually are foreigners. As you know, the Fulani, if we're talking about the Fulani, it's not just a Nigerian affair. I think they're all along the West African coast. So what Emmanuel is suggesting is that, yes, they are Fulani, and yes, they might be, kindred with Fulanis everywhere else, but that these are not Nigerian Fulani. And as he said rightly, we have millions of Fulani here who are law-abiding and who don't identify with this. But he's suggesting that these are foreigners. These are foreigners that are carrying this out. Now, you see, there's a problem here. He's speaking based on what he also thinks. I don't know that any investigative panel has been set up to give the truth to what he is saying. But that's an idea that he is floating. I think he is saying that Nigerian people wouldn't do this to their fellow Nigerians. And so it's clear that they have to be foreigners coming from other West African countries, and that they need to be persuaded, let me use that word, let me to be politically correct, need to be persuaded to please go back to your own country. Go back to your own country and continue this. But then we're hearing that in other countries they have been, persuaded to move on. I'm just using the word persuasion. Apparently, if people are very, very firm and very, very stern, they see that the place is uncomfortable, so they move on. It does look, following this conjecture, it does look as if, the people of Benue State are seen as soft targets, and this is where we are now. But give me your commentary on this whole, shall we say, speculation.
Well, I think when Emmanuel started earlier, I thought he was going to say something different from what I've been saying, but eventually he concluded by saying almost the same thing with me. The area I need to put in, I don't talk on speculation. If you notice, I talk with some level of reservation. I can tell you that I know how the whole thing started. I know the genesis of the crisis in our area.
Share it with us.
Now the Fulanis were living there.
Mm-hmm.
The Fulani were living there. Are you with me, Yori?
Yes, I am.
Okay, before now, Fulanis were living with us. They would leave and they would go back and were living very peacefully. And the thing got to a point that there was a kind of disagreement. And then the thing became something else. And so, since that day till now, you begin to see different faces. You begin to see, these people, there's no way somebody will leave a country and appear in Agatu. Before the person come to that place, somebody who lived there before certainly might have contacted that individual. And this is when they come to a place, they have the map, they have the name, and they know why they come to attack most of the time. So you cannot completely say these people are foreigners. And of course, like you say, all of us that are here today, you are aware that if you begin to trace somebody's origin, there's a place you trace it to. But what is very important is that there are people who have decided to be causing this
to be attacking
on people,
to be attacking the host community,
and so you cannot
and killing the host community.
Wherever they are coming from, you see material very well, and these people, they know that they rear cow, they have their cow around. So I was giving you a scenario: if human being can be restricted in the name of trying to restore peace and order by government, then I can also tell you that since we know that these people have a business of rearing cow and they move their cow, if they begin to take human life, I can tell you for free that the most precious thing in this entire world is human life. Nothing is more important than human life. The road we are constructing is for human being. The building is for human being. The cars are for human being. There is nothing in this world that is more important than human life. If you are doing a business, you are rearing your cattle, and in the process you are destroying properties, you are killings and all that. The government have a duty to say, let there be an end. Let there be there should be restriction in the movement, and I think that is the essence of the law. The singular thing we are saying is that the government should have the capacity to ensure that that law is enforced. That is what I'm saying here.
All right.
Whichever level of government that have that duty to do that should do it.
Okay. And as
when that is done, then people will be able to learn their lesson. And when they learn their lesson, they should be able to know that, yes, this thing, if we don't restrict our step, this our business too will also not progress. That's the kind of point we are trying to make here.
Okay. So, just before I take a break, Ojemo Ejotu is a representative. He represents the Upper Agatu Federal Constituency of Benue State. And I think he's saying that his people are dying, being attacked by all of this. And he feels that it could be prevented if people would sort of live up to the expectations of them as leaders, elected leaders. But he told us about people who have had to, traditional rulers who have had to up and flee in the face of marauding armed herdsmen. Yeah. You see, I was trying to pick my words there, armed herdsmen. And let me just follow your lead that we know what's going on. I'm paraphrasing you, but it's like you don't want it to become political, and so you're saying it the way you are saying it, but everybody knows what's going on. Let's take a break. We'll be right back to continue our conversation. It's a very difficult conversation, actually. And maybe we'll get calls from home. Maybe get calls from Fulani leaders, get calls from Benue leaders, get calls from people who are neither but are Nigerian and that have information to contribute on this matter. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back.
Every weekday on Business Nigeria, we uncover the secrets of the financial world.
We analyze the stock market, shares,
bonds, and the thrilling world of cryptocurrency. Facts matter. Our team dives deep to separate fact from popular opinion.
We simplify complex government policies as it impacts your everyday life, helping you navigate the ever-changing financial landscape.
Watch Business Nigeria every weekday at 2 p.m. only on TVC News. First with breaking news.
The TVC News at 7 and the TVC News at 10 are not like any other news broadcast.
It's the big news hour, the hour for the big breaking stories.
We've got some of the best reporters on the field,
Taking you through as it happens.
it's fast-paced, hard-hitting,
With investigations that matter.
bringing in news that affects your life.
With sport, entertainment, and business news so you don't miss a thing.
Experience resourceful coverage with depth.
Every night.
Okay, welcome back. Actually, we should be getting some calls. Sorry we missed, some calls dropped. Elder David called in, for instance, and something happened, that call dropped. But our guest is Ojema Ojotu. He represents the federal constituency, the Upper Agatu federal constituency of Benue State. And we're talking on this whole problem about killing of indigenes in the area, and he has complained that elected leaders, traditional rulers, have not been living up to what is expected of them to sort of speak up. And I think he's also dragged in the state government, he's dragged in the military, he's dragged in the police, that everybody seems to be looking away, according to him. Ojema, Elder David just got back in. Let me take Elder David. Good morning to you, sir.
Just in the police, but everybody seems to be looking away, according to him.
Elder David, good morning.
Back in. Let me take
Elder David.
Thank you, Yori. God will
Okay.
bless you, sir.
Good morning, sir. Please go ahead.
You have been asking that my question. Who are these people?
Elder David, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Are you hearing
Please
me well?
ignore those echoes. Yes, I am
Are you
hearing
hearing me
you.
well?
Please ignore the echo repetition. Continue, sir.
Yori, are you hearing me well? Thank you very much. I said you have been asking this my question. Who are those people? You have been asking a question. Who are those people? Is it the Fulani that have been living with them for more than 100 years ago? You ask me a question. I want you to even reply you. You see, all this political, we should be very tolerant on whatever we are doing. The Fulani, we say herdsmen, they are foreigner. Do they come from up without the put there? And if we say it's those people that have intermarried, who have been living with them for more than 100 years, they have no other home. That's where they have been living. They were born and bred there. Then why can't you mention the particular people? Is it the people where you say they cannot do their own trade, other people have their own? It's not only in Benue. We have Fulani herdsmen. It's all over the whole country. Just as you have Yorubas all over. You have Igbo all over. There is a parable in my place. Anywhere you go in Nigeria, don't say an Igbo man. You know there's something wrong there. It's a tasty Fulani. And let me tell you, we intermarry and other things. And it is okay when the junk and TV various happened, the time of Obasanjo. I know what happened. I have all the history. They should be tolerant. When you are mentioning, say, let them create a place for them there, because the time of autumn, it escalates the matter. I won't tell you lies. It bring politics to it because Buhari was in government. Because Buhari is a Fulani man. Is it Buhari that caused? Is it Abuja? It's their own people. Some of the people are involved with all those things. Some of the people are involved with killing all those people, and they say Fulani herdsmen. No Fulani herdsmen come from up and fly down there. They say they are foreigners. It is within themselves there. Let him mention the people concerned. The man talking, the all in Tunia, some of them in London and others. We should be very careful. May God forgive us in this country. we should not be playing politics. Look at what is happening in Benue State. Is it not the same thing? The time of Matu and you know about that by that time. Is it not the same thing? Because of what is happening in Taraba and other places? So when we are talking, we should be very careful. You are blaming Abuja. It's Abuja and Benue. It's a question I want to ask. They themselves should be tolerant. Let that man tell you who are those people.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Elder David. And Ojema Ojetu has said that he wants to be politically correct, which is a bit difficult for anybody who is interviewing him. But he has his reasons. He says he doesn't want to maybe inflame the situation. But back to you, Ojema. What do you say to that particular perspective?
You see, I want to thank Elder David. You know, one of the problems we have in this country, to be honest, is that most of the times we seem to assess. This one will be raising accusing finger on the next person, and this one. And that is why, if you notice, I sit down here, I deliberately refuse to behave as if I am shifting this blame to an individual. I'm talking of government as an institution. I'm not talking of a person. You know, so, and if you notice too, you will discover that sometimes this thing will happen to me. I'm representing the people of Apaga too. And when I got the news of some of this thing, I had sleepless night. But even the people of Apaga too will also be feeling that I'm not even doing what I'm expected to do. That is their feeling. So what I'm trying to say, if you notice what I say, I can tell you that this year I'm very conversant with it. Before now, there were Fulanis that used to come and stay in our place. And they have their lugas. They will stay in that place. When it is rainy season, they will leave and go to their own state. And then when the rainy season is over, they will come back again.
Sorry, Ojema. The point that Elder David was making is that there are actually, Fulanis that have been there over 100 years. In other words, they are part of the community. Even as the other gentleman who called in earlier said that they were foreigners. You see, this is the problem here. When you don't have people of authority who are speaking to you based on research and based on knowledge and based on eyewitness, he was saying that they are foreigners. Elder David said that they are all the same in there. They are members of a community in there, but the thing seems to have gone wrong. Speak to that.
Yori, let me tell you. That's why I say if I want to speak as it affects Apaga to federal constituency. In Apaga to federal constituency is what I'm telling you. I was born and brought up there.
Okay.
The Fulanis that we have there, they will come to the community for business. They will come in a particular season. And at the end of the season, they will go back. We don't have a scenario whereby you say,
where do they
there
go?
Are Fulanis that have come to back.
Where do they go?
Some of them come from Casina. Some of them come from the half state they come from. They come there for business. And the way they live, they don't live there permanently. They live just like you are. There's a place that you can go for fishing. And then when you go there. The fishing is a seasonal thing. When you finish fishing, you go back. That's the scenario in my constituency. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
And so when they come for grazing. And when they stay is
Agatu, not all of Benue State.
Very well. Yes, I'm talking for Apagatu. And when they come for grazing, they usually come during the dry season. Because we have what they call riverine area. And then during the rainy season, they can't stay there because the whole place will be covered by water. So when it's rainy season, they will leave. When it's dry season, they will come. And when they finish, they will go. And we look forward to that day they will come. And when they go, we also notice it. And these people live peacefully. They don't destroy somebody's property. And it got to a point, I am telling you that it got to a point that there were crises. And then at the end of the day, I can tell you for free, is these same people that also, at the end of the day, bring certain people in. So when you are saying somebody is a foreigner, somebody is this.
You're confusing me. These same people that bring certain other people in. Do you mean other Fulanis that are not Nigerians? Which other people?
I don't know where. I can't tell you. I cannot tell you where these people are coming from.
Okay.
If I tell you that I know this one is coming from Cameroon, this one is coming from this place, I may be lying. Because these people are not people who come to display their identity. They are not people who come to say this is where we are coming from.
Okay.
But all we know is that we have a relationship with people, and they are at a point there seems to be a disagreement, and then you begin to see a lot of people coming attacking you, and you cannot begin to profile those people and say these people who come, they are from so and so place. That's a clear picture, and I wouldn't want to say what I don't know when I'm talking to in a television like this.
So you are speaking for the Apagatu federal constituency, your constituents there.
Very well.
Okay. Ade in the UK has been holding on for quite a while. Apologies for that, Ade. Please go ahead now.
Hello?
Hello, Ade in the UK. Good morning. Please go ahead now.
Hello, Mr. Yori. I can't hear you at all, so we have to do something about your studio audio.
Okay.
If you are hearing me,
yes.
Now, my own point is this. I don't want us to... This is an emotional situation, because the family of the people that have been killed, they are the ones that will feel the pinches. You understand? In Jos, some of our churches in Jos, they killed the minister of God, they killed the children, they burned everything down.
Who?
And
who killed? Who is doing this killing? You see, please, sir, who do you think or know is doing these killings that you are illustrating?
These are criminal herdsmen. There's nothing to call. It's a criminal herdsmen. So,
okay.
In my state, those states, during the time of my former governor, late Akeredolu, you know what he did now? We caught so many of them. Some of them are jailed in Akure. It's a criminal herdsman.
Okay.
You understand? They even kidnapped the APC chairman last week. They are demanding for 100 million now. It's a herdsman. It's happening everywhere.
These are
so
herdsmen.
Now somebody is defending them. It's too emotional for someone to just say, there is nothing, there is nothing. Let him happen to the person. Then we know the feeling. When they kill family, this is an emotional situation.
Okay.
This is a criminal herdsmen that killing people everywhere because they want to roar their cow. What is wrong is wrong.
Criminal
herdsmen. Let us deal with the emotional.
Okay.
It's an emotional situation. We have our pastor killed in Jos. I have my people in Ondo State kidnapped by Fulani herdsmen. What are you talking about?
Actually, you two are alternating between criminal herdsmen and Fulani herdsmen. Okay. You two are alternating.
I don't like hypocrisy.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Ojema, did you want to add to that?
Very well.
Did you want to add to that? Because
he too
was being careful.
With me that the man is saying the same.
He's being very careful. He's calling them criminal herdsmen.
Yeah, and I say suspected herdsmen. And that I use that word because, like I told you from where I'm speaking from. So the thing is that we are saying the same thing.
Okay.
Yori, all of us, we are saying the same thing. There's nobody that can stay somewhere here and begin to say, oh, the Fulanis are criminal. You can't say so. There are some people who are actually reading this cow there that are actually genuine. But what we are trying to say clearly is that when these people are known, when this attack is carried out, sometimes they make phone call before they come. They will even tell you that they are coming at a particular time, and they will come. And when this thing happens, I'm happy the man said that the people were arrested, jail and all that. What we are saying is that the government should live up to that responsibility.
Okay.
The government should be proactive. The government should leave these people at the board. That is the point we are making. Well, the man said he practically somebody said to me.
That part of it, is spot on because as I was saying, people are dying. 23 people were killed in the first instance. That was big news. And as of Monday, within 48 hours, we have another 7 people killed again. All of this in Benue, in various parts of Benue. Just by the way, are we saying that there are no Benue cattle herdsmen?
You see, I will always tell you, when you talk about rearing of cattle, it's actually a business. And this business is not commonly done by Benue people.
Okay.
And what we usually do those days that I know, if you rear cow, is not the type that you take your own, even right from when we were young. They will tell you that if you are rearing your goat, your chicken, whatever you are rearing, you have a duty to make sure that you restrict their movement.
That's right.
People usually do something, maybe something like a mini ranch within their community compound and keep them. But for you to begin to move with This is, yeah, no, we are not into that. Particularly in Agatu, where I'm coming from, I don't know anybody who rear cow, who go about with it from one farm to another. Okay. So it's not our kind of business.
All right. So, well, Honorable...
And even if we do it, we'll do it with that consciousness.
So, Honorable Ojema Ojotu, what you are saying is that you give me the impression that you have been let down by government in Benue State and also the authorities. Unfortunately, we don't have spokespeople for the government in Benue State to tell us their side of the story. But you are giving the impression that, look, I might be representing the Apa Agatu Federal Constituency of Benue State, but I'm trying here to just, speak for my people. And what I'm saying is that more could have been done to protect people generally in Benue State. That seems to be your outing today, that you are disappointed with the attitude of the authorities who have the coercive, coercive power of state to prevent some of these things happening, not doing so.
What I'm saying in a clear term is that, when I came, I'm speaking as it affects my people. And what I am saying is that government as an institution have a duty and responsibility of protecting life and property. And they are not doing that duty. We are talking about. They are not performing that duty. And I'm saying that this very well. And government have arms, where we are into 3 arms of government with different responsibilities. So I'm saying that the security personnel who have the direct duty, the executive arms of government who have the responsibility to give the directive, they should be courageous enough, they should be proactive enough, they should be bold enough to take certain action that will be able to deter some of these people from continue in this business of taking human life as if there's no value for human life.
Okay, Honorable Ojema Ojotu, you've had your say. Thank you very much for making yourself available and for bringing this to, the attention of the entire country and even in diaspora. Ade in the UK, he called in from the UK. So everybody, a lot of people have heard this now, and we hope that progress can be made and we end up where we don't have these distressing headlines of 23 people killed, 7 people killed. Even the last news were that 7 people were killed, and there was supposed to be a young girl among them. Thank you very much for coming on and bringing this to attention of the country.
You really let me use your station to use the opportunity to send my sincere sympathy and condolences to the people of Benue State, the family that lost their loved one, particularly that of Apa Agatu, and of course the recent one, that of Udubeho, Comrade Jeremiah, Pastor Che, and so many other persons, Akbete people that were disarmed and Agatu people. I want to let them know that I'm their leaders and I have a duty and responsibility to continue for them, and I love them. And the greatest and the worst situation I can find myself is to watch and see my own people being killed and being destroyed, being rendered homeless. Okay, and I'll continue to speak I'll continue to do whatever that I need to do to make sure that thank you very much, Yuri, for this opportunity. Okay
then, Honorable Ojema Ojotu, representing the Apa Agatu Federal Constituency of Benue State. We're going to have to leave it there now, especially if the government wants to get back to this particular subject to, add to it. We'll be delighted to take them on as well. That's our program today. Do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.
With Glovo, you've got the city at your fingertips. Hanging out with friends and craving fried chicken or smoky jollof with fried plantain? Order on Glovo and receive it in minutes. Running low on toiletries? Don't panic, Glovo's got you. Order on Glovo and receive it in minutes. Family time deserves quality food, so treat them to a sweet surprise. Yummy. Track the rider in real time as your order makes its way to you. Download Glovo, order anything you want and receive it in minutes.
What are we looking at?
Thank you guys for joining us on this unforgettable night.
Everything is fine. Paw Patrol is on a roll.
It's Max Verstappen in the lead. The megastar is here. Absolutely sensational.
Let's go.
What were you guys doing to us? Get unbelievable entertainment that is unbelievably easy to own. Get and stay connected to DSTV.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Tired of spending endless hours in the kitchen? Struggling with bulky appliances? Cooking should be a delight, not a chore. Tired of messy cleanups from kitchen tools that never seem to perform as expected? Do you wish there was a single solution to handle all your blending, chopping, and grinding needs? Introducing the Cook X 4-in-1 Blender, the 50 Naira. That's a saving of over 100,000 Naira. And remember, you won't just be getting the blender. There is more. Order now and you receive a premium knife set valued at 30,000 Naira. Absolutely free. We'll also deliver the Cook X 4-in-1 Blender to your door for free. But hurry! This flash sale is for a limited time only. Stock is running out fast, so don't miss this opportunity to upgrade your kitchen at an unbeatable price. Call now while stocks last.
Proceeding is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news. At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Midday News. I am Abosadi Adeniwadremi. We begin with the trial of Nnamdi Kanu at the Federal High Court in Abuja, where the lead counsel has clarified that he was not denied access at the DSS facility. At the resumed sitting before Justice James Omotosho, Kanu Agabiesian explained that the post made by Aloy Jimako, a member of his team on social media, suggesting that he was not allowed to see Nnamdi Kanu, was misleading. He admitted to have arrived at the DSS facility alone, but was informed that the names of expected visitors had not arrived. The court was not pleased with the action of Mr. Jimako, who without confirmation made such publication. The judge asked him to refrain from making such allegations and posting court documents online as a legal practitioner. During cross-examination, the prosecution's second witness tendered the death certificate of Ahmad Gulak, a special advisor on political affairs to former President Goodluck Jonathan. He was allegedly killed by suspected IPOB members in 2012. Now to the National Assembly, where the House of Representatives on Tuesday rejected a bill seeking to provide for rotational presidency among the 6 geographical zones of the country. National Assembly correspondent Jokia Adisa reports.
7 constitutional amendment bills are put together for second reading. One of them seeks to provide rotational presidency among the nation's 6 geopolitical zones. Debate on the bill is led by Deputy Minority Leader Aliyu Madaki. He sets the stage for the criticisms that eventually led to a rejection of the bill. He and others against the bill, sponsored by Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu, argue that rotational presidency may not give room for competency.
We have a commission called the Federal Character Commission that was created primarily to take care of every zone of the Federation. And when we are talking of giving people job to do, we are looking at competence. We are looking at ability.
If we come to the Southwest, I'm from Oyo State, who takes it? Is it Ogun? Is it Ondo? Is it Ekiti? So there will still be that element of we could still do better.
In my little experience in Nigeria, whenever you do this, every tribe in every state will also come out and say it's their time.
We understand there are zones that are not at the opportunity. What existed in 1999 can, through internal party politics,
exist again, where each zone that has not been considered will be considered through internal party politics.
The few members in support of the bill insist it will eliminate age-long marginalization of some sections of the country.
I would like to suggest that a sunset clause be introduced into this very alteration. After every geopolitical zones have possibly have a shot in this very amendment, let the sunset clause stop.
I will appeal that during the public hearing, let them also consider the rotation should go down to the governorship in all the states.
After the debate, the Deputy Speaker puts the question twice and the nays had it. By implication, the 7 bills are rejected, and the Chairman Committee on Rules and Business, Francis Waibe, moves that the bills be taken on their individual merits. He is to come with a substantive motion at the next legislative date to enable the House rescind its decision and take the bills one after the other. Joke Edsa, TVC News, Abuja.
We now cross over to the presidential villa where Vice President Kashim Shettima is assuring investors that the administration of President Bola Tinubu has addressed most of the gray areas that formerly served as disincentives. According to him, the foundation laid by the Renewed Hope administration through critical reforms in key sectors of the economy is creating the right environment for investment in Nigeria. The vice president stated this when he received on a courtesy visit to the presidential villa a delegation from the Islamic Development Bank led by the head of its regional hub, Hamad Handal. VP Shettima pointed out that with well-thought-out interventions in human capital development, nutrition, agriculture, health, education, and promotion of digital trade, the government has demonstrated commitment in addressing challenges in the critical sectors. Earlier in his remarks, the Islamic Development Bank's head of regional hub in Abuja, Mr. Handal, said the bank was committed to scaling up its intervention through a holistic review of its country engagement framework, CEF, in Nigeria to prioritize key aspects of the agenda of President Tinubu.
This is an exciting opportunity to invest in Nigeria. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has created the enabling environment. Most of the gray areas that hitherto served as a disincentive to investors have been addressed.
We are here to develop the country engagement framework for Nigeria, and we have received His Excellency's guidance on the strategic programs and priorities driven by the President Bola Tinubu and his renewed hope agenda. So we really want to develop, inshallah, this country engagement framework to be an impactful.
We are focused on certain selective sectors which the Office of the Vice President and also other selective ministries have decided to give to us to join the development work here in Nigeria. Aside some sectors that have already been mentioned by my boss, we're also looking at developing a halal economic infrastructure here in Nigeria.
What marks International Plant Health Day 2025, Comptroller General of the Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Service has emphasized the critical role of plant health in safeguarding Nigeria's food security, economic stability, and environmental sustainability. Moyo Thomas has more.
Invasive pests, species, and plant diseases have been a rising concern to the ecosystem as it could trigger severe food shortage. This is further compounded by climate change and human activities. The Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Service is using the commemoration of the International Plant Health Day to raise awareness on the urgency needed in preserving plant health to meet future food demands. He says NAQS, as Nigeria's National Plant Protection Organization, continues to play a key role in preventing the spread of plant diseases while facilitating safe agricultural trade.
Ensure that we do not allow every and any plant or animal materials to enter into the country because they are regulated quarantine consignments. And it's only those that are safe to enter the country that are permissible to enter. For now, Nigeria is on the lookout for cassava brown streak disease, maize litter necrosis disease, and yellowing disease of coconuts and what have you. These are pests that we are watching out for to ensure that we don't have them in the country. And that's to ensure that we safeguard our agricultural economy. You agree that if, for any reason, our maize and our cassava are affected by either the cassava brown streak disease or the maize litter necrosis disease, those are our staple crops, and we need to guard against them.
He called on all stakeholders to build a resilient plant health system capable of supporting Nigeria's development goals and positioning the country as a leader in agricultural sustainability. Plant health underpins everything from what we eat to how the economy grows, hence the importance of raising awareness to ensure food security, protection of the environment, and promoting sustainable agriculture. Moyo Thomas, TVC News, Abuja.
Let's turn attention to security matters now, where the Kogi State Command of the Nigeria Police Force says it is stepping up strategies to ensure the safety of lives and property across the state. Commissioner of Police in the state, Mila Dantawaye, disclosed this during a press briefing at the command headquarters in Lokoja, where he announced the arrest of 239 suspects for various crimes across the state. Michael Ila has details.
The police in Kogi State insist it is intensifying efforts to clamp down on criminal elements, with recent arrests including suspected armed robbers, kidnappers, and homicide suspects. Other suspects on the list were arrested for unlawful possession of firearms, rape, cultism, and other heinous crimes. Briefing journalists, CP Mila Dantawaye reveals that exhibits recovered include a Sharon vehicle, AK-47 rifles, magazines, rounds of ammunition, locally fabricated gun barrels, pump-action guns, and other incriminating items. He says the arrest is the outcome of an organized onslaught against criminal elements in the state.
We have also adopted comprehensive crime prevention and control strategies in recent time through intensive patrols along the major highways, raid of identified criminal hideouts, black spots, and flashpoints. We also conducted aggressive stop and search as well as massive deployment of well-trained, equipped, and motivated officers geared towards ridding Kogi State of all forms of crimes and criminality.
The police chief emphasized that the force is not overwhelmed by insecurity in parts of the state, pointing out that intelligence-based policing is being carried out in line with the mandate of the Inspector General.
The command continues to adopt common problem-solving strategies embedded in the IGP's community policing templates. We have a lot of operations that are ongoing now in our bushes. We are aware, and we had intelligence, that such people are coming to our environment to perpetrate those devilish crimes. And so we have commenced a very robust operation around there. About 3 days ago, the IGP deployed chopper to come and patrol that area.
With this renewed push, the Kogi State Police Command says the positive results are morale boosters, but more can be achieved through stronger collaboration with the public. Michael Ila, TVC News, Lokoja.
We'll be back with more stories after this break. Please stay with us.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first, with breaking news.
Thanks for staying with us on TVC Midday News. The 14th of May this year is the 22nd birthday of Leah Sharibu, one of the students abducted from Government Girls Science and Technical School, Dapchi, in Yobe State, who is actually still in custody of her abductors after 7 years. The Leah Foundation says hope is still not lost on her safe return, and they want the federal government to intensify more proactive measures to see to the safe return of Leah and all other Nigerian citizens in captivity of terrorists and armed militia groups. Leah Sharibu was 14 years old at the time of the abduction, and 7 years later, she remains in captivity despite several local and international calls and efforts to secure her safe return. The group believes Leah is still alive and will continue to pray and look forward to her release from captivity, as well as the safe return of others.
This year marks 7 years in captivity and Leah's 8th birthday, spent away from her family after she was taken alongside over 100 girls from her secondary school in Yobe State. While most of those girls were released, Leah, only 14 at that time, was reportedly held back because she boldly refused to renounce her Christian faith. Leah is still in captivity. We call on the National Security Advisor, the Nigerian Armed Forces, and all other civil societies, and most especially the media.
Away from that now, the eldest sister to Inyobangu Moran, who was brutally murdered in April 2021, Inyobangu is there, had denied claims alleging that her sister's organs were harvested. While addressing journalists in Oyo, Akwa Ibom State capital, Ifeoku Moran described the allegation as outrageous, emphasizing that she personally witnessed the autopsy, during which all internal organs of her sister were confirmed intact, just as she cautioned against linking the death of her sister to President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio. The 26-year-old philosophy graduate of the University of Uyo was murdered on the 29th of April 2021 by a suspect, Uduaka Abasi Akpan, under the guise of a job interview. The press briefing was convened in response to alleged viral audiovisual conversation with US-based activist Dr. Sandra Duro, where she said that Natasha Kwotuduanga alleged that the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, harvested the victim's organ.
The autopsy was done, the doctor didn't tell me, and I did not see as well anything missing in her. Nothing was missing. Every part of her body was complete. So when I saw the news flying that my sister's organs were harvested and was used on, I felt so bad. And I now ask myself, is it like a common person cannot just die and rest in this country? Must somebody just wake up one day and come up with false allegation for whatever reason best known to her and tie it down to the death of my sister? I am putting it up here that I am not happy about what is happening. There is an autopsy result to prove at anywhere that no organs of my sister was missing as of when I buried her on the 18th of May, same May here, 2022.
We are staying in Akwa Ibom State, where one Stanley Young Abawola is facing charges of conspiracy and illegal interference with oil pipelines. He was arraigned before the Federal High Court in Uyo after being arrested in Ibeno local government area by a special enforcement team set up under the Office of the National Security Advisor. His arrest is part of a broader federal crackdown on oil theft and unauthorized operations in the sector. In court, the prosecuting counsel revealed that arguments on Mr. Abawola's bail application have already been presented. The case has been adjourned to the 2nd of June 2025 for ruling and trial to commence.
Filed a 2-count charge against the defendant. Count 1 borders on conspiracy. Count 2 borders on tampering. Upon the charge being read and explained to defendant, he pleaded not guilty, and we have asked for a date for hearing And also the counsel to the defendant applied for the bail, and we informed the court that we will have served with this bail application on Friday, and we just responded by filing our counter. On that note, the court has stood down the matter to noon for the hearing of the bail application.
Still from the courts, let's remind you that the lead counsel in the trial of Nnamdi Kanu has clarified that he was not denied access at the DSS facility. At the resumed sitting before Justice James Omotosho, Kanu Agabi SAN explained that the post made by Aloy Jimako, a member of his team, on social media, suggesting that he was not allowed to see Nnamdi Kanu, was misleading. He admitted to have arrived at the DSS facility alone, but was informed that the names of expected visitors had not arrived. The court was not pleased with the action of Mr. Jimako, who, without confirmation, made such publication. The judge asked him to refrain from making such allegations and posting court documents online as a legal practitioner. During cross-examination, the prosecution's second witness tendered the death certificate of Ahmad Gulak, a special advisor on political affairs to former President Goodluck Jonathan. He was allegedly killed by suspected IPOB members in 2012. Away from that now, former President Olusegun Obasanjo has advised Sule Lamido, former governor of Jigawa State, to continue speaking truth to power, a trait for which he was long known for. Mr. Obasanjo said this at the launch of Mr. Lamido's new book, Being True to Myself. Senior reporter Ademola Lawrence has more.
The entrance of the event brought together some of Nigeria's most prominent political figures, including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi. The book, spanning over 500 pages, chronicles Nigeria's political evolution from the twilight of Second Republic through decades of military rule to the emergence and development of the Fourth Republic. It offers both a personal account and a political reflection from one of Nigeria's most seasoned statesmen.
Being true to myself would inspire many other actors and activists in the Nigerian political and governance spaces to also write and publish more books, which would enable us as citizens to have clearer understanding of what is the true nature and character of our politics and governance.
Speaking at the event, former President Obasanjo praised Lamido's steadfast commitment to nation growth and development, stating that his dedication to the Nigerian cause knows no bounds.
Your job is not finished, because the Nigeria that you and I were working for, we haven't got that. And I believe it's the responsibility and the duty of all of us.
The book reviewer, former PDP national chairman, offered key insights into the publication, describing it as a compelling narrative that blends historical fact with personal convictions.
Our encounters with people of power, Sule Lamido spoke and continues to speak truth to power. In domestic and foreign affairs, Lamido remains true to himself.
Representing President Bola Tinubu at the event, the Minister of Information and National Orientation commended Sule Lamido as a leader who embodies the resilient Nigerian spirit that never gives up regardless of challenges.
And while we may differ in our approaches or the platforms we represent, we are ultimately bound by our shared desire to see that Nigeria progresses and prospers.
To many, former Governor Sule Lamido has established himself as one of the sought after in the Nigerian political landscape. In his book, Being True to Myself, the former governor highlights key insights and recommendations on what Nigeria must do to experience exponential growth and sustainable development. Ademola Lawrence, TVC News, Abuja.
About 2,500 vulnerable people in Giray local government area of Adamawa State are undergoing a 2-day free medical treatment for cataract. This medical outreach is a collaborative effort of the Northeast Development Commission and the Nigerian Medical Association. Our senior reporter, Owolabi Adenusi, compared the story.
As early as 8 a.m., vulnerable residents of Giray local government area of Adamawa State assembled at the Council Cottage Hospital, hoping to benefit from the free medical outreach organized by the NEDC. Many of these patients are suffering from various health challenges, but are now seizing the opportunity to get themselves treated. Some of them have this to say.
I come here for my problems of eye. I am suffering for 10 years with my eye. I'm blind. I cannot see all right.
Thank them very much for helping us. Yes, I've been suffering for long for this problem. I thank them. As I hear this thing, I'm from them, sir. I just come here because I don't have money to go to hospital.
The head of Sanitation, Nutrition and Health Matters of the NEDC, Batula Isa Mohammed, explains the plan by the Commission to flout a free health insurance scheme for vulnerable population across the 6 northeast zones within the first quarter of this year. She explained that the outreach is in line with the mandate of the Commission.
So for now, we chose Gire because the last outreach conducted by the Nigerian Medical Association, there was some data that was showing where people are more vulnerable to what. And Gire showed that this disease is one of their problems here.
The Vice Chairman, Nigerian Medical Association, Adamawa State Chapter, Nathaniel Bredin, says the 3-day free medical outreach was made possible by the NEDC and NMA as a way of helping the people in their immediate communities to bring health services to their doorsteps.
This outreach was made possible by the Northeast Development Commission. NMA as an association, we have this responsibility of helping the people in our immediate community.
The district head of Gire, who is also the Ubandoma of Adamawa, Ibrahim Mustafa, and the chairman Gire Local Government Area, represented by the vice chairperson, Luri, commended NEDC and NMA for bringing the outreach closer to the people.
We had to thank God for seeing this day and also to thank the Northeast Development Gold for this big initiative and also to bring succor to our local governments.
The Northeast Development Commission says it is adhering to its constitutional responsibility, which includes touching the lives of the vulnerable in the region.
That's TVC Midday News. We thank you for watching. For more updates on the stories we're monitoring here, please visit our website, www.tvcnews.tv. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG. On YouTube, we are live at TVC News Nigeria. We also have updates on WhatsApp at TVC News Nigeria. I'm Abosade Adeniwa. I'll be back at the top of the hour with more updates. Good afternoon.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, where the black gold continues to flow and fuel Africa's largest economy, where the line between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Oil, gas, politics, development, and community issues all are highly valuable commodities in the Niger Delta. How do they combine, and how can they work together to spawn a new era in the Niger Delta? Join award-winning ace broadcaster Mahmoud Felix Akuga on TVC News every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 3:30 p.m. as he probes deep to analyze issues in the region from angles never before explored. Inside the Niger Delta with Mahmoud Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
Every second, every minute, every hour, and every day, time doesn't just tick away. It's a countdown to political decisions that shape our world.
This country must move.
Imagine the impact these decisions have on our lives. Some are consequential, others may leave us intrigued or baffled.
You will have no better friend and partner than Nigeria.
Step in and feel the frenzy like never before. Join me every weekday for an hour of fact-finding interviews, but questions cut to the core.
How would you say your administration has fared in these sectors?
I will dig in to get to the heart of issues, from local politics to global insight. Join me as I unearth the power plays, jaw-dropping revelations and the unfiltered truth. This isn't just politics, it's unraveling the stories that matter. Brace yourself for Politics Tonight every weekday at 8 p.m, where every decision echoes along the corridors of our lives. Politics Tonight, only on TVC News.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello, what time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Stay ahead with the biggest news stories. Go beyond the news headlines. Experience impactful investigations. Enjoy resourceful news coverage in real time. TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. Live every day on this channel. At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Welcome to Labor Lenta. I am Sharon Ijason. On this week edition of the program, we'll be focusing on the Midday celebration, what it entails, and workers' expectation in Nigeria. We also have news stories for you. We will be right back.
It's another May Day and the Eagle Square hosts workers in the nation's capital. The average worker in the country faces a number of challenges, including economic and insecurity. But in the midst of these challenges, workers believe they have every reason to celebrate their day. Nigeria's leading labor centers take the lead in drawing government's attention to the many troubles they say hinder the joy of the workers. From the economy, energy sector, tax bills and electoral reforms, labor calls on workers to remain vigilant and resolute in their demand for accountability.
Labor must shape policy, reject elite enrichment at the masses' expense, fight stagnant wages amid soaring costs.
A list of labor's demands includes an immediate salary adjustment in line with economic realities.
Let us organize in every factory, every market, every village. Let us build a movement that shakes the foundation. Let us be the generation that takes back the nation.
President Bola Tinubu is all ears to the demands and assures workers that his administration will always protect rights of workers to organize, advocate, and partake in decision-making process.
This administration stands ready to collaborate with the labor unions, the organized and informal private sector, the civil society organizations, to create policies and programs that safeguard the rights and livelihoods of workers.
The Workers' Day is an ample opportunity for the National Automotive Design and Development Council to showcase its CNG and electric-powered cars that will ease workers' transportation costs.
What we are seeing on ground here are CNG vehicles that are locally made in Nigeria, and we are happy to display them today, being Workers' Day, because very, very important to workers, talking about how we can reduce the cost of transportation in Nigeria.
The theme for the 2025 celebration is reclaiming the civic space in the midst of economic hardship.
International Workers' Day, also known as Midday, is an annual celebration dedicated to honoring the labor movement and its achievements. In Nigeria, Labor Day is observed every year on May 1st. The day is marked by rallies in designated locations across the country where workers advocate for improved working conditions. In a bid to understand how Nigerians in platform jobs are coping with welfare issues, I booked the right to engage with an e-hailing driver. Good afternoon. I ordered for a ride, but my name is Sharon and I'm actually a journalist. As an e-driver, I'm concerned about what your well-being is. Do you mind sharing with me? Of course. Okay, so I will just come in and talk to you. Wasiu Ismail, a young platform worker, shared his experience with me. He expressed concerns about his future, pointing out that the structure of platform work offers no social security safety net.
I will confirm to you that other than maybe some that are unfortunate to, get themselves into an accident and are badly affected, so many drivers are battling stress-related illness. And this is what this is what they have been subjected to by the design of the operation. Because if you do not overwork, you cannot make something for yourself. No insurance from Uber, no insurance from Bolt, no insurance from InDrive. Those are the three leading apps which I work with. Zero insurance from them. The only insurance they claim they give is on-trip insurance, which is if you are affected, maybe you have an accident or something, they take care. And me, I have not seen anybody that benefits from that insurance. And moreover, you claim you are giving people insurance. Logically, when I run into an accident, if I am badly affected, that maybe I will not be able to. If I'm robbed, for instance, now my phone is gone. There's no way I can. If I run into an accident, there's no way I can, access you to do the needful at that time that is required.
Later, I met with the Lagos State Chairman of the Amalgamated Union of App-Based Transporters of Nigeria. He explained that, like other forms of platform work, it comes with unique challenges. Though flexible, the ambiguous nature of the employment status often leads to misclassification, identifying them as independent contractors rather than employees. This limits their access to essential labor rights and social protection.
There is no insurance, there is no pension. If your car got spoiled today without a ridiculous price, nowhere to get loans to fix your vehicle. So our members are going through a lot. We are the owner of the business. We are supposed to be part of the pricing mechanism. They just do everything, throw it onto us. They don't want to sit with us. They don't want to, negotiate with us. And we decide that we are shutting down for 24 hours. In fact, on Midday, there's not going to be any hailing service in the country. We are asking this app company to profile their rider so that criminal elements will not go on your app, form as if they are drivers like us and they are criminal.
I'm really concerned about the job security when it comes to online, and I wish there is like a body, there's like a regulation that can maybe look into it and maybe just make sure that online workers also have job securities just like the normal 9-to-5 guys. But I don't think the government have us in mind. So basically, maybe one day the labor law will look at us, pity us. Organizations under the labor law will look at us, pity us, and say, okay, let's help these people. Let's create a structure for them so that at least they enjoy what most 9-to-5 workers enjoy.
What government needs to do is to enable patent of ideas so that people can actually benefit from the ideas that come from them. Also create an enabling environment for innovation of people to come up and create more areas within, more opportunities within what is going on now. Employers need to continue to train and retrain and equip workers to take advantage of the new trend to be able to produce more and improve the productivity level of the employers. While for us as workers, we need to be ready to take up new skills, new knowledge, new capacity to be able to fit in. Even in cases that you know that you need a new skills that is coming up and your employer is not ready to train you, there is nothing wrong with an employee going out there, getting yourself trained.
In an exclusive interview, the Director General of NECA emphasized the urgent need for upskilling to bridge the skills gap created by the evolving nature of work.
Why the reality is scary, NECA is not sitting down and throwing our hands in the air to say, look, where do we go from here? And one of the things we have done earlier this week, we started in Lagos and in Abuja our first introduction to artificial intelligence course. It's a free course for Nigerians. It's currently running in NECA ICT Academy at NECA, our head office in Lagos, and also running concurrently in our office in Abuja.
As the world of work transition into hybrid and platform-based models, many who earn a living through digital platforms hope that key stakeholders will ensure that decent work becomes the standard.
We are currently struggling again with all the stakeholders concerned, and they should remain calm. We'll continue to do our best to ensure that their welfare and well-being was improved. All their outstanding areas, by the grace of God, will be paid. So I want to thank them for their patience, and I hope they will continue to be more committed to their duty post. Because as health workers, as professionals, we know that no amount of money that will be paid by the government that will be equated with the work we are doing to safeguard the health of Nigerians. So I want to seize this opportunity and thank them, and equally congratulate them for the 2025 Midday celebration also.
A time for labor leaders to stood up for the challenges that are ahead of before us, because the economy is not friendly. Workers are complaining. Federal government too is trying to do its best for the economy. Labor leaders should be able to stand firm and be able to negotiate a better salary for their members. Because as far as we are concerned, the economy with what is on ground, workers are not happy. Workers are not happy because what they have in their pocket cannot sustain them in the market any longer again. And as far as federal government is doing what is right for the economy to pamper the economy, meaning to try to raise the economy to a better distance, let workers should be carried along in line with that part.
I want to commend Nigerian workers for diversifying. It's not easy, but they are able to keep their families intact and survive the hardship. It is our prayer that the government in power realizes that Nigerian workers and Nigerians generally are really suffering. So the best thing to do is to review our economic policies, encourage farming, encourage Nigerians to diversify, make sure that we stem this high-rise inflation so that Nigerians can have some kind of sign of relief.
For a better economy, that is when Nigerian workers can enjoy themselves and feel a sense of belonging in the society.
On the Profile Interview segment this week, I'll be speaking with the President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Comrade Joe Ajero. He tells me the challenges that workers are faced with in the 21st century and preferred solution. It's good to have you on the program, and congratulations on a successful May Day celebration.
Thank you very much.
It's the 2025 May Day celebration. Can you tell us why the theme of discourse that was the center of discussion at the May Day celebration parade ground?
The question would have been, if not this theme, what else? You know, if you look at the issues around this theme, the civic space, and then economy, there's hardly anybody in this country, even when you are not
within the labor circle that is not concerned about the economy. And then, if we're all concerned about the economy, in fact, market women these days, will be giving you analysis on the rate of the dollar. At times you ask yourself, does dollar affect the sale of amala and vegetable? But it's to show you to the extent they have tried to understand what is happening with our economy. And you can't predict the price of any product now until you get to the market. So the dynamics keep on changing, and the inflation is going high, and Nigerians are suffering. So if you are a labor leader, you should be able to get these complaints on hourly basis, what is happening. So the reason why it should be the economy, anybody can tell you, yes, there is no way we could have discussed today or this year without discussing economy, insecurity, two key issues that are equally affecting our operations today. And then the civic space is like when you beat a child, you ask the child not to cry. Why the economy is haunting us, we need to shout out. We need to speak out. But meanwhile, they are meeting us with threats, and attacks if we go to the civics to talk. I will tell you quite vividly some of the things that happened during the anti-SAP protests, and they were heavy, even under military. But Babangida said there's no alternative to SAP, and we told him there's alternative to SAP. Some of us were tear gas at the National Arts Theatre and other areas, and we provided alternative. And there was a debate. We defeated him, although he still introduced structural adjustment program. So anytime there's a strong economic policy, especially the one being dictated by the IMF or World Bank, the people will resist. And the space, if the space is compressed, then it becomes a problem. And that's the hallmark of democracy. When you come with some other economic policies that are affecting the people, they voice out.
During the May Day celebration, there was a call for a wage review. Can you bring us up to speed on why this is expedient at this point in time?
When we went for negotiation, we had in mind that we are going to get clearly a negotiated agreement based on cost of living. We met a government team that was not prepared on anything. If this 70,000 you want to pay, how much is transport? How much is basic? How much is housing? We tabulated them. We even tabulated the cost of cooking gas, the cost of bag of rice. We went, and the people from government side didn't have response to it. So it's like, oh, take this. And where we were then, it was biting seriously. We wanted to benchmark it with inflation. But if inflation goes at this rate, let it be self-adjusted. They still refuse. So it's like, after a national strike, after a lot of protests, and after even an agreement with the president that it was, if we take 70,000, they were not going to continue to increase pump price of petroleum products, which they reneged. That we reluctantly took this 70,000. Now that the 70,000 is nowhere, and even the former wage award they were given as a relief, they have stopped it. You can see that we have every right to ask for cost of living allowance to mitigate whatever we are getting now. And those are some of the things we are going to raise. Because if you watch the whole lot of money they have made from the so-called removal of subsidy, and a lot of money which the president has equally acknowledged now goes to the governors. And the governors seem not to be doing anything. In some states, they are not faring well in terms of payment of wages. So we have every reason to demand for some wage awards or some reliefs. This has happened before, where even if you go to offices and whatever, people, they come up with food stuff, come up with rice to give to people for them to survive. So it is not a matter of right or wrong, the economy is extremely bad and is hurting.
2025 May Day celebration, comparing it with the previous May Day celebration, this particular year, we didn't experience May Day celebration in 2 states, that is Rivers State and Edo State. Why did the Congress decide to take this action, and would there be other further directive moving forward?
Well, the issue of Rivers State should be well understood by anybody. For us to give the sole administrator there an incentive of workers marching through and he's standing there, it's an indirect endorsement of what happened in Rivers State. Of course, it is equally an interim measure, even from a suspension for 6 months or whatever. That does not legitimize the person occupying that seat, clearly. So, and if we give that endorsement inadvertently, we may be encouraging it in other states. So we have to do it clear. But it has created some motives. By yesterday, the government there, maybe government officials, sent for the NLC in the state. All that they stopped, all the colleges of education, they were not paying, signed agreement. The pensioners, they are not paying, they signed agreement, they signed everything. And then the gratuity, they are not paying, they signed agreement. So let them pay, and then know that these are not people that are cheap. It's not, come to the stadium, come to the stadium. And I think we'll resolve that. To that extent, it should make sense to them that if it happens any other place, because the trade union movement happen to be the people at the vanguard of the fight for this democracy. I can tell you that during the military period, I was sent behind bars and all that. So if after, it is true that we didn't take over government as those that fought for it, we will not be seen to be taking action that will encourage, imposition of military people or people that are not democratically elected. So that's the point as far as Rivers State is concerned. That of Edo is unfortunate that Edo is going this way. Edo used to be a state that we normally use as example, positive example. The Edo State government were accusing our chairman in Edo that he was too close to Obaseki and was too partisan. They even said that if PDP doesn't win, that heads will roll in Edo. Now, the same Edo State government now started patronizing an auditor. The same offense they were accusing the chairman of. They now started encouraging an auditor to serve as an imposter, that he's now the chairman of NLC in Edo. We looked at this issue and we made it clear that we don't know this imposter. This is our chairman. But even if you have a complaint about our chairman, you do us a memo that your chairman did this, did that. We set a committee for him and try him based on the rules of NLC and sanction him if he's found guilty. And that was our position until the Minister of Labour intervened and said he wanted to apprehend it. We say with all pleasure. He arranged for us to go to Edo, and I was represented by one of my deputies. And they went and met with the governor, who sounded very well, and promised that he will reach out to me so that we can solve this problem. I waited for him almost 2-3 months. I didn't hear from him. I took his number. I called, he was not picking. And for the guys that he was using as imposters, even their unions gave them directive that nobody should go there. So I want to find out, because the guy that was from Amalgamated, the union wrote there that nobody should go to the stadium. And that's the union controlling him. The other person that was signing as acting secretary, NSC doesn't have acting secretary anywhere. We have paid secretaries. It's from is it secretariat or whatever, the union wrote that nobody should go to the stadium there. So that's the situation. If the governor went there to take parade, I don't know the big deal if the workers say they are doing it in their separate offices. It shouldn't be an issue, and that's our position. Until we resolve the issue there, even if the chairman is incapacitated, our rule doesn't allow an auditor to come up to say he's our chairman. We have a clear rule on how things should be done. So you can't be accusing the previous government there, you know, that they were close to one person, and then you now adopted another person to be close to you, and then commit the same offense. So our leadership there is best known to us, and as of today, we are waiting for a formal complaint. And within 48 hours from here, we are going to set up a panel to investigate whatever might have transpired there, but not this way. Never. Because the labor issues in Edo, we have to resolve it in terms of minimum wage. They have not signed any agreement on even the issue of consequential adjustment. Since he's doing this, we are going to, in the next few weeks, we are going to write him so that he will address the real labor issues.
During the Midday celebration, there was a call for a wage review. Can you tell us why it's expedient for us to have a wage review at this point in time?
There was the Pension Reform Act, which, you know, reformed pension to make it contributory. The Reform Act did not even remove pension. And some ignorant people now said the Pension Reform Act now has removed gratuity. Ignorant in the sense that pension is different from gratuity. And it wasn't a gratuity reform act. And because of that, some of them stopped paying gratuity. And some of our colleagues in the public sector have not done too well by not following them up. From the sector I came from, the electricity, as nobody will enter into an agreement with or write a condition of service without insisting on gratuity. Gratuity is all about being gratuitous. And that's the only lump sum you pay to a worker when he's leaving office, to say thank you. I had an uncle that worked in the then USC, whatever, and they finished, even in the 50s and 40s. Some of them, they gave them this golden wristwatch, you know, as thank you measures, whatever. So that exit token, by whatever name or gratuity, has not been removed. So, and it will be mischievous for even governments, who are equally regulators in the circle, to now stop it. I will not say abolish, because there's nobody has abolished it. So we are trying to renew the call from all the sectors, you know, for them to demand for this, because we are living after work, you are just going home. You know, you don't have anything to go home. You don't even have anything to eat. You now go to a PFA. A PFA will say they are processing your document, and that's the end. It doesn't happen. In those days, when you pay them that money, some will even buy keke. Some will be managing their life until they start receiving pension. So we insist on it until that is restored, and that's the best way to go. So these are issues we need to look at once more and see how it will affect us, because that period of transition from defined pension policy to contributory pension, there was a lot of loophole which we needed to fill. Coming from the power sector then, you know, we had a superannuation fund, and we insisted that whatever was the quantum of it, because we were doing 25%, should be transferred, you know, and then before we start current contribution.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And that's all we can take on today's edition of the program. Join us next week for a fresh edition of the show. I am Sharon Ijason. Thanks for watching, and remember that labor creates wealth.
I'm Nifemi Oguntoye, news anchor with TVC News.
My day is usually busy and it's difficult keeping up with breaking news stories, trending stories, business news, stock exchange and what have you. But with TVC News on WhatsApp, I'm able to catch up with all the breaking news, real-time updates and trending stories on the go, right on my phone, no matter where I am. It's quick, easy and always on. And here you can join us by scanning the QR code or using the link on our X and Instagram. Why wait? Come to the side of news that keeps you ahead. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Every weekday on Business Nigeria, we uncover the secrets of the financial world.
We analyze the stock market, shares, bonds, and the thrilling world of cryptocurrency.
Facts matter. Our team dives deep to separate fact from popular opinion.
We simplify complex government policies as it impacts your everyday life, helping you navigate the ever-changing financial landscape.
Watch Business Nigeria every weekday at 2 p.m. only on TVC News, first with breaking news.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news. At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
On the news this hour, Nnamdi Kanu's trial resumes as lead counsel clarifies that he was not denied access at the DSS facility. Police in Adamawa State initiate peace talk between herders and farmers to avoid conflict during this year's farming season. In sports, Nottingham Forest striker Taiwo Awoniyi is in an induced coma in hospital following emergency abdominal surgery. Hello and thank you for joining us on TVC News at 1. I'm Abosede Adeniwa. We are staying with the trial of Nnamdi Kanu at the Federal High Court in Abuja, where the lead counsel has clarified that he was not denied access at the DSS facility. At the resumed sitting before Justice James Omotosho, Kanu Agabi SAN explained that the post made by Aloy Jimako, a member of his team, on social media, suggesting that he was not allowed to see Nnamdi Kanu, was misleading. He admitted to have arrived at the DSS facility alone, but was informed that the names of expected visitors had not arrived. The court was not pleased with the action of Mr. Jimako, who without confirmation made such publication. The judge asked him to refrain from making such allegations and posting court documents online as a legal practitioner. During cross-examination, the prosecution's second witness tendered the death certificate of Ahmed Gulak, a special advisor on political affairs to former President Goodluck Jonathan. He was allegedly killed by suspected IPOB members in 2022. Our senior reporter, Celestina Ria, who has been monitoring developments there, joins me live now from Abuja for more. Celestina, help us better understand this clarification being made by Kanu Agabi SAN and its implication.
Okay, well, about today, we recall that at the last adjourned date, the court adjourned so Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer can confer with him, because they were also have cross-examined the second witness, but his lawyer stood up to say that they've not had time to confer with Mr. Kanu, and they need to ask him some questions in respect to the videos that was played in court at the last adjourned date and some of the statements made by the prosecution's second witness. So it was on that instance the court adjourned to today. So today, the court needed to clarify the post made by one of the Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers, who actually was the lead counsel before Kanu Agabi took over. He made a post saying that DSS denied Kanu Agabi, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria, access to Nnamdi Kanu. But in court today, Mr. Agabi clarified that he was not denied access, as you read from the report that he had gotten to the DSS facility, but the list of visitors had not arrived. And also, he had other engagements, so he went about his duty, but that does not translate to him being denied access. Down to the main course of today, before cross-examination could start, the prosecution asked the court that he needs to finish with the witness before the defendants could take over, which is tendering a certificate, a death certificate of the former aide of Goodluck Jonathan, who died during the course of this incident, which the prosecution has said was caused by alleged suspected members of IPOD. Because at the last adjourned date, the witness had mentioned that the broadcast made by Nnamdi Kanu allegedly incited violence, resulted to the loss of properties and also life. Among those lives was that of Ahmed Golak. So the prosecution needed to tender that evidence to back up their statement. So they tendered it. So we move about to cross-examination by the defense team. The witness, which is Mr. BBB, a senior officer of the DSS with over 20 years of experience, was asked that what does it make of the solitary confinement of Nnamdi Kanu? Then he said that solitary confinement is not a practice of DSS. He was also asked if the charges are not speculative. He said he did not prepare the charge. He was only in charge of investigation, which is, well, recall that he said that he was among the team that brought Mr. Kanu from Lagos to Abuja when he was brought back to Nigeria in 2021. So he said he was not involved in preparing the charge. But we also recall that the charge were 15 in number, and Justice Binta Nyanko, the judge that previously handled the case, struck out 8, leaving 7 counts. And that 7 count went up to the Supreme Court and now back at the Federal High Court. So, but also, as the cross-examination was going on, Mr. Kanu Agabi asked that the court adjourn, because according to him, there are some documents they need from the police to prove the innocence of the defendants, of their clients rather, which they have not gotten. So they need time for the police to respond to those documents. But the prosecution has objected because the court had granted accelerated hearing in the matter, which means the case ought to go to day or very short adjournment. But Justice James Omotosho said, for the interest of justice, they should allow the defendants have the time with the police and get all the documents they need. And the court adjourned to 21st of May for continuation of hearing.
Celestina, and so what more should we expect in this case now? When next is this coming up for trial, and what other steps are left? How many more witnesses are we likely to have examined in this matter?
Okay, well, the prosecution lawyer, Adegboyega Womolo, senior advocate of Nigeria, had mentioned that when he objected to the adjournment for today, he mentioned that they had 5 other witnesses lined up ready to testify, that the adjournment that the defendants is seeking is to slow down the process, that this whole trial has a lifespan of over 10 years. And so far, this is the time that progress is being made, apart from when Justice Binta struck out some charges. So now, he said that the defendants is just playing delay tactics. This was according to him. But the court said they should allow them and adjourn to 21st. So 21st of May, will be back in the court, and the defense team will have the opportunity of cross-examining the prosecution's second witness, who is a DSS officer. I believe they will ask him questions in respect to the video, but they posed a question to him today, which is the interview they conducted with Nnamdi Kanu when he was back in Nigeria in 2021, that the interview was not complete, and also the interviewer's face was not shown, just his voice. But the witness said that that is the practice of the DSS, that the only person seen on camera will be the people being interviewed and not the interviewer. And we also recall that the prosecution had tendered certificate of compliance of these recordings that they had submitted and were admitted in court as exhibit. But so far so good. The defendants, as at that time, said they would not object, that they objected rather, but they will give the reasons for objecting to that admissibility of those documents at a later date. So feel maybe it will come up during the cross-examination. So 21st of May, we'll get to know more.
Celestina Area for us in Abuja. Thank you so much for that update. Well, let's now move to the National Assembly, where the House of Representatives has given the Comptroller General, Federal Fire Service, Jaji Abdul Ganiyu, 24 hours to appear in person and explain events around the recent fire truck accident that claimed 3 lives and injured others in Abuja. Minority Whip of the House, Ali Jesse, gave the ultimatum following the failure of the Comptroller General to honor the House Committee on Interior's invitation. National Assembly correspondent Joke Adisa reports.
A firefighting truck at the popular Banex Plaza in Wuse 2 of the nation's capital killed 3 siblings and injured several others. Videos and pictures of the fatal incident went viral on the social media, and the House expresses concern that there has been no official response from the Federal Fire Service.
So close the door for us.
This meeting is at the instance of the House to hear from the service what truly happened and how it is dealing with the sad situation. But the Comptroller General, Jaji Abdul Ganiyu, was conspicuously absent. He was represented by the Deputy Comptroller General Administration and Supplies, Samuel Olumode, who attempted to put the position of the service in perspective. He expressed regrets over the incident, adding that the driver of the truck reported himself to the police and has since been detained. But the lawmakers are angry that the CG failed to appear in person.
The boy, the driver, he went to the police station by himself, Matama police station, to report that this what has happened. He was detained. We were there yesterday. We visited the family, the father and the mother. And the service have even made a publication, that is apology, on national TV.
The non-appearance of the DG, the CG, there is no any convincing reason why he's not available. Another engagement, I don't think at this point there is any more serious engagement that was more than the invitation from National Assembly, and also a very situation that all of us are mourning the loss of lives of Nigerians.
The House directed that the service should immediately visit the family, engage and commiserate with them, take over the medical bills of those in the hospital, and make arrangements for adequate compensations.
Because of the sensitive nature of this issue, we should invite him to appear tomorrow by 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Yeah, with all your teams. And we also try to engage some of the family members to send a representative so that they will be here. But before then, just like I said, try and do more engagement to the family, show them more love, show them more concern.
To demonstrate the seriousness of the issue at hand, the House handed down a 24-hour ultimatum for the CG to come before it and for the service to implement its resolution. Joke Adisa, TVC News, Abuja.
We'll take a break from our regular programming to bring you a live broadcast from Gusau, the Zamfara state capital, where Governor Dauda Lawal, in commemorating his 2nd anniversary in office, is inaugurating the rebuilt and upgraded Government Girls Arabic Secondary School, Gusau. Our news and other programs continue on our other platforms and our digital channels. The House of Representatives wants the federal government to urgently engage the Republic of Benin over the blockade at the Tabera border in Barutin local government area of Kwara State. This resolution is the outcome of a motion from Kwara State member Mohammed Bio. He says the order issued on the 6th of May restricts the movement of people, goods and services, and this threatens livelihood and trade. In another resolution, the House called for the immediate and unconditional release of 18 persons abducted by sea pirates along the Billy and Bonny waterways in Rivers State.
On the need to resolve diplomatic insensitivity among border communities in Tabera, Okuta district of Barutin local government area of Kwara State, Nigeria, and Tandu community in Parakou, Republic of Benin, over unilateral blockage of Tabera-Tandu route by the authorities of Republic of Benin, on the order of the President of Republic of Benin, to disrupt movement of people, goods and services that could lead to death if there is no urgent government intervention.
An urgent demand
for the immediate and unconditional release of 18 persons, including a pregnant woman and children, adopted by sea pirates and criminals along the Bile and Benue waterways in Rivers State, and the need to deploy security house boats and personnel to avert future occurrence.
Elsewhere, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, has reaffirmed the readiness of the executive arm of government to collaborate closely with the National Assembly, the media, and other critical stakeholders in the ongoing review of the Cybercrime Act. The minister, who briefed the media after a meeting with the American ambassador to Nigeria, Richard Mills, in his office in Abuja, said the goal of the collaboration is to ensure the emergence of a law that reflects broad consensus and is acceptable to all parties involved. Mr. Idris said the Tinubu administration remains committed to upholding freedom of expression and press freedom as fundamental pillars of the nation's democracy, emphasizing that no democracy can thrive without an independent and vibrant media. In his remarks, the United States envoy, Mr. Mills, described his discussion with the minister as fruitful, particularly on issues relating to press freedom and the critical role the ministry will play in the forthcoming review of the Cybercrime Act. When TVC News at 1 returns, health experts want the government to make issues of drug abuse a national priority. Please stay with us for details.
I'm Nifemi Oguntoye, news anchor with TVC News.
My day is usually busy and it's difficult keeping up with breaking news stories, trending stories, business news, stock exchange and what have you. But with TVC News on WhatsApp, I'm able to catch up with all the breaking news, real-time updates and trending stories on the go, right on my phone, no matter where I am. It's quick, easy and always on. And here you can join us by scanning the QR code or using the link on our X and Instagram. Why wait? Come to the side of news that keeps you ahead. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Many thanks for staying with us. Here is a reminder of our top stories. Nnamdi Kanu's trial resumes as lead counsel clarifies that he was not denied access at the DSS facility. Police in Adamawa State initiate peace talk between herders and farmers to avoid conflict during this year's farming season. Outside Nigeria, United States President Donald Trump arrives in Qatar on the second leg of his 4-day Middle East tour after meeting Syrian president. In sports, Nottingham Forest striker Taiwo Awoniyi in induced coma in hospital following emergency abdominal surgery. Focus is on Adamawa State, where the police have initiated a peace talk between herders and farmers ahead of this year's farming season. Speaking to a group of herders and farmers in Yola, the State Commissioner of Police calls on the contending parties to avoid any conflicts that would result in loss of lives during the farming season. Senior reporter Owolabi Adenusi compared the story.
Herder and farmer conflict has to a large extent reduced in Adamawa State since Governor Fintiri assumed office over 5 years ago. The involvement of religious, traditional rulers and other stakeholders in the mediation process is playing a significant role in reducing farmer-herder clash in the state. In a complementary move, the State Police Command is collaborating with the state government to sustain the existing peace. The meeting, called by the State Commissioner of Police, brought together stakeholders from farming communities in the state.
We are gathered here today to exchange ideas, to rub minds, and collectively to chart a path towards sustaining peace in our dear state, Adamawa State. It is important to mention that as the rainy season approaches, past experience reminds us that this period often witnesses an increased tension between herders and farmers, primarily due to struggle over land, water, and grazing reserves. In the light of this consideration, if not proactively addressed, can escalate into violence, disrupt livelihood, and threaten the peace and security we all work hard to preserve.
The State Police Commissioner commended Governor Ahmadu Fintiri's efforts and support in maintaining peace and harmony in the state.
I also wish to sincerely commend His Excellency, Right Honorable Ahmadu Fintiri CON, for his consistent support to the police command.
Governor Fintiri was represented by his Senior Special Assistant on Community Peace and Security, Honorable Ahmed Lawan, who commended the initiative.
The government of Ahmadu Fintiri, we are doing our best to make sure we continue maintaining peace with the collaboration with the police command and security agency we have in the state.
Stakeholders shared their thoughts on how farmer-herder conflicts can be avoided.
There is need to create more awareness so that the farmers and the herders will know that this is a farmland. And secondly, there is also a need to do something about most of this cattle route have been sold out.
As the rain continues to fall, farmers are advised to distance their farming activities 50 feet from the road, as night grazing is prohibited in Adamawa State.
In a bid to further enhance security of lives and property across Ekiti State, government has begun the process of recruiting more than 500 personnel into the Amotekun Corps, Agro-Marshals and Anti-Grazing Task Force. The recruitment process, which is geared towards reinforcing the state's ability to curb criminal activities, protect farmers as well as enforce anti-grazing laws effectively, began in Ado-Ekiti on Tuesday. Speaking with journalists during the screening exercise, Special Advisor to the Governor on Security Matters, retired Brigadier General Ogundano Ebenezer, said the exercise is a critical step towards beefing up the security architecture of the state and expanding personnel aimed at addressing the growing security challenges across the country, particularly in rural communities.
This was born out of the fact that the security situation in the country, where we've gotten information about Boko Haram moving from north to southwards, and we don't want to fold our arms and believe that because it has not really affected us to that level, and then wait until it comes. So it's a proactive measure by His Excellency, the Governor, Biodun Abayomi Ibanji, to take bold steps as recruiting more men into Amotekun.
Now to Edo State, where Governor Monday Okpebholo says his administration will sustain its fight against cultism, regardless of whose ox is gored. The governor said this when he received youths who were on a peaceful rally to the government house in solidarity with the governor's action against cultism in the South State. The youth were led on the solidarity protest by the chairman, National Youth Council of Nigeria, Edo State Chapter, Joseph Agunede, who said they were tired of the persistent clashes between cult groups that have left scores of persons dead. They also commended the governor for his prompt action and efforts in addressing security in challenge.
One thing at every point in time that is coming to my heart is, if I was killed as a youth, if I was in any way shot at and I died, will I be a governor today? No! So for that reason, every Edo blood matters. Whatever intimidation, whatever miss they are doing, it will not stop me. Yes. We must continue to fight on until we stop it.
We are here today to campaign against cultism and drug abuse. And we are with you, Your Excellency, the governor of Edo State, against the fight against cultism.